O great and powerful Oz, it is I, the Scarecrow, the hay-bound son, the child of autumn and harvest. Do you remember when I begged you for a brain? You pulled out this scrolled diploma and said this means brains. This means that you are smart in a way that is standardized, verifiable, homogeneous. But when you told me what intelligence was, you made me clear what you thought it was not. Implied my seamstress of a mother that stitched my body into being made the only clothes I will ever own was no more clever than assigning ape that my mechanic of a father built his own tractor, plotted the geometric fields I hung in, was a simple curiosity that learned to use tools. Every friend that elevated me, helped me along this yellow brick path of life, was a fortunate idiot for managing to survive for this long. Now, you see, why couldn't you just teach me to paint the sunset over the cornfield rather than understand its physics? Can't I go this way, or go both ways and still end up in the same smart place? Help me understand the Tin Man's heart or how to hammer him whole. I do not need to know the genus of the lion to know that we are family. I could build a home for Dorothy and Toto, a straw house inside this chest rather than this paper brain you keep huffing and puffing about. But your argument is an easy straw man. I pull back the curtain. I finally learning. I am a scarecrow in a country filled with rotting crops. We now think we are too good to harvest ourselves. Machinery we don't even build anymore, rusting alongside their mechanics. Great thinkers who measure worth by the inverse proportion of dirt underneath their fingernails on top of thrones of diplomas and master's degrees, watching over fiefdoms of wage slaves, rat racing their way through corn mazes. They make the workers build for themselves. So I'm going home, back to the cornfield. I don't curse you for this brain. I curse you for not telling me the value of a heart or a brush or a wrench or a friend, of all the good I do not know of all I have yet to learn.
Oh, great and powerful Oz, your Tin Man has come back to return the heart he was given. I think it's broken. I wore it back to the woods to cut down trees like I used to, but then the trees started screaming, and they wouldn't stop screaming, and it didn't used to hurt like this. Before, it was just loud lumber and not a thing that hurts you when it hurts. So please, take it back. I'd rather rust in the woods than hurt the woods again. But look at me. I'm a metal man. My body is an axe blade now. And if I cannot cut down trees, the only thing I can cut down is myself. Did I ever tell you how I lost my first heart? The witch cursed me with a body that cannot live with itself, and one by one, my axe removed pieces of me. Anxiety. It is my cutting disease. How else might I have a hand that cannot hurt, or a chest that cannot be harmed, than through the removal of all my pieces? I cut myself down so the hurt has a smaller container to fill. Depression. It is my rusting disease. The curse of heaviness. The curse of hollowness. It is not a desire to die. It is a desire to not live. The difference between a tree and the axe rusting in its trunk. The difference between a man and a hollow, empty kettle. Oz, this heart. I feel the curse of the witch split it open like a log. Screaming and bloody, just like those damn trees in that forest. And I know that I deserve it for what I have done to them. I do not know which is worse, to be full of hurt or to be empty of everything, to be an axe or to be a rusted lump. So please, I beg of you, take back this bleeding thing. I am too depressed to live, but too anxious not to. I can neither care for this heart, nor live without it. Keep it safe. Keep it far away from me.
O great and powerful Oz, it is I, the mean old lion. And I finally found the nerve to make it out of my jungle, travel down this golden excuse for avarice to make it down to your door. And I speak to you with anger. Because I want another miracle. Because it was never about courage I came, so I could learn how to live within fear. I once asked a man with no heart if he's ever hunted, and he told me only those that deserve to be picked apart, but who came in search of who first? No lion is born in Oz, but instead we are dragged here, meant to pepper a forest of frightened trees for the amusement of straw-haired men and white lace witches. Oz! They've manufactured a circus in your name and called it a metropolis. But I've seen stronger cities named after greater gods still fall at the hands of its own people, so consider me human this time. I want to make sure I matter in your eyes. Of course I asked for courage. I cannot live in a land that isn't mine and expect to thrive unabashedly. No one should sit and laugh with freshly fanged lions. My roar is a language that screams, leave me alone. Not an excuse for your fear. Not an excuse for your murder. Not an excuse to decorate an emerald castle with our skin. I once came for the man behind the curtain, but now I'm afraid to ask whose pelt is your veil made of? How many more of my kin have knocked at your door asking for ears to hear their chosen confession, only to be shipped back out into a wilderness we had to run away from? So how can I not be afraid when the world is a wooden crate and someone forgot to poke holes in the box, and the poachers have picked apart the lions and tigers and bears? Oh my God! So I wish not for strength, but instead I wish for speed. Give me limbs to outrun this fight, because I was never the one that picked it. And hasn't that always been the issue? When small men hold guns, the strong become mice in their eyes. So Oz, consider the roar of a tortured lion. I wish for a world with no box, where it does not take courage for me to put up my paws, and where there are no longer cowards who see only claws.
O wanderers of golden stones to nowhere but emerald jealousy, it is I, the great and powerful Oz.
Oh, yellow brick companions, men of broken backs and egos. It is I, Dorothy, the small and meek.
Like all men, you ask for a woman to fill in what is missing.
I just asked for a home that had been taken from me.
You turned me wizard, not too far off from witch, and now an entire city wants to be painted me. I did not ask to become your savior. You forget, before fire and gates, I was human once too, not just intellect.
The Scarecrow oozed his straw the whole way. Didn't mind, knew I'd scoop it up and stitch him back together.
Not just heart.
The Tin Man was Kansas winter cold and cruel, as I've always known men without hearts to be.
Not just courage.
The lion's roar drowned out every lioness from the east to the west, and still I called it bravery.
Have I not done all you've asked of me?
Even when you did not know you were asking.
You take and take and take everything that has been inside you all along. Scarecrow, you cannot ask me for a brain, then curse me for the truths you find in your field. Tin Man, You cannot ask for a heart and not expect to break loud as falling trees. Lion, you asked for courage, but you too quaked at the sight of me. And isn't it just like a man to tremble in the face of femme? I am nothing more than a circus act gone wrong.
Oz, has this been a lifetime for you of taut back, blue and lavender bedraggled eyes being called upon for labor? Is this all I can expect too? Is girlhood a sorcery that exists as a curse on my own self? Is softness a means of servitude to broken men? Oz, I realize now.
All that is great and powerful is the work done behind the curtain. Beneath every cloud of smoke, there is a good witch,
A lost girl with ruby slippers.
a black magic woman, a sorcery that can only be produced from the hands of femme.
Oz! When I met you, I introduced myself to you as Dorothy, the small and meek, and I believed myself when I said it. But is this not anything but meekness?
To rescue men and they believe it's companionship. Scarecrow, Tin Man, Lion.
In your next hour of need, don't call on me or Oz or any willing woman.
Call on Jackson or Franklin or Edison.
These men who've always labored for their own benefit.
And hope their blessings fall in your lap. Watch as they turn emerald into profit, and we will tear down the curtain. Give every femme behind it the credit they deserve, and we will take every Zelda, every Frida, every Henrietta, every Dorothy, every wizard, every witch, every woman used and left to history's forgetting. And we will finally go